Namaste, world raisers. Sabine and Roger here. Let's watch There Is No God, but I have found something far more significant.
Holy smokes. From the master of controversy. Let's see what this is about.
That fits. Can you read?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
These discourses are the foundations of your meditation. Sitting with me in these discourses is nothing but creating more and more meditativeness in you. I do not speak to teach something, I speak to create something. These are not lectures, these are simply a device for you to become silent. OSHO.
If there is no God, are you an atheist?
There is no God. But that does not mean that I'm an atheist. Certainly I am not a theist.
Oh, thank you.
I am saying there is no God. But that does not mean that you jump to the opposite of the atheist. The atheist says there is no God also. But when I say there is no God, and the atheist like Charvaka, Karl Marx, Lenin, Epicurus, when these people say there is no God, there is a tremendous difference between my statement and their statement. The statements are absolutely similar. Because I say at the same moment that there is godliness, Charvaka will not agree on that point. Epicurus, Marx, other atheists will not agree on that point. To them, denying God means denying consciousness. To them, denying God means the world is simply matter and nothing more. And whatever you see as consciousness is only a byproduct of certain matters put together. Just a byproduct. Take those things apart and the byproduct disappears. It is just like a bullock cart. You take the wheels away. You take other parts away. And each time you can ask, is this the bullock cart? When you take the wheels apart, certainly the answer will be it is not. No part is the whole. You can take by and by each part and remove the whole, and no single part was the bullock cart. And in the end you can be asked now, where is the bullock cart? Because we have not removed it. You have never said at any point that bullock cart is being removed. Bullock cart was just only a combination. It had no existence of its own. It was a byproduct. That's what Marx means when he says consciousness is a epiphenomenon. Remove the body, remove the brain, remove all that constitutes a man's being, you will not find anything like consciousness. And when you have removed everything, it is not that the consciousness will be left behind. It was only a combination. You have taken the combination apart. So when I say there is no God, I am not agreeing with Marx or Epicurus. I am certainly not agreeing with Jesus, Krishna, Moses, Muhammad, when they say there is God, because they use God as a person.
Should I keep going?
Why, you want to talk about something?
Well, I don't know, he just puts me into quite the state, and I thought maybe when we talk then
Oh, you want to
it'll
talk?
help me get out of that state.
Okay. What state is it putting you into?
The talk is almost finished, but I thought we can start talking a little bit already. I don't know, he puts me into quite the state sometimes when I listen to him. So I would like to ground myself a little bit by talking about what he was saying.
Getting into the bliss states, hey? Amazing. Yeah, so, very basic. A lot of people hold on to this view of what he's saying is that, the conception of God. So the atheists claim there is no God, right? There is no consciousness or mind apart from matter, right? So it's the body and the brain, and consciousness is a byproduct of the brain, right? So when he says there is no God, he's not talking about that definition of there not being God. So he's just saying that there is no God as a personified God, right? And yeah, so of course there's some people who do believe in the personified version of God, right? So, God the Father, in Christianity, in the Old Testament, the God of Moses and Abraham would be that sort of depiction of also, the heavenly God. But, as being a personified being. And even the Hindus have their personified beings of God, like Shiva, Vishnu, Krishna being a very prominent one. But what he's saying is that it's more like a non-personal form of God, which in the Buddhist tradition, that's what the Buddha was getting at. There's just an infinite field of consciousness, more like a Brahman aspect, just empty, formless, timeless. The infinite field of consciousness is the word that I like to use. beyond all form and identification and conceptualization, there's just one infinite potentiality manifesting as all things, and that source of creation, the essence of it is love itself, expressed as all things, meaning, God is simultaneously everything and nothing, beyond existence and non-existence. So this is what seems Osho, his depiction of God is, and he says there is no God, just to say it's not a personified form, but he says godliness does exist, which means more like the Buddha nature, and those qualities and capacities are in us to realize, like those some really accepted divine realized beings, like Ramana Maharshi, Nisargadatta Maharaj. In that state, they would say they were, I am that. They're one with God, right? So, which means we all have that potentiality. When the kingdom of heaven is realized within you, Jesus Christ also said that he was one with God, and we all are. We just haven't realized it. We just don't know it yet, right? So, yeah, good. Does that help?
Well, not really, because it was all pointing to the same thing. But it doesn't matter. I just sometimes, it's okay just to not say anything, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Now, to think of God as a person is just your imagination. The God of the Chinese has a Chinese face. And the God of the Negroes has a Negro face. And certainly the God of the Jews must have a Jewish nose. It can't be otherwise. And if horses think about God, their God will be a horse. So this is just projection. Giving personality to God is your projection.
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
So giving personality to God is just your projection.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I can't say that I disagree, completely with him. He's got some very good and valid points. 100%. We have to come to the root of the supreme source of all of existence is, beyond existence and non-existence. So beyond form and identification and conceptualization. It's a supreme potentiality. But at the same time, that is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, all-powerful. It's unlimited in any way. So this source can appear as anything, like whatever you want. And so it's true, but yeah, it's our projection. And then you can argue that God doesn't exist because as a person, because your vision of him, as a Jewish form, or a different color, or it's going to be similar to how we see, like if I personify God, as a white person, God the Father is going to be a white man, right? But would a black man see him the same way? No, but if you go to heaven as, a black person who believes in a black God and that God is there, that God's going to be black for you because it's all in the mind, right? Our mind is part of the creative potentiality of all. There's the big mind, and then there's the small mind, and we're, part of the creation. So, whatever I hold in mind as my deity that I worship and believe in as the supreme, is made manifest by my very belief in that. But it's not my belief causing that. It's the power of God that's allowing that to happen, right? So, yeah, that's why even in Hinduism, they say, 33 million gods? And there's no division or fighting about it, because they understand that, the omniscient, omnipotent mind of God can manifest as any being, right? So different cultures, different traditions. Native American Indians would describe it as the Great Spirit. Other traditions have different forms and variations of God, and they're all valid because God can be anything and everything. So I thought it was a good talk. I think more addressed to people, who have this narrow-minded depiction of, okay, this is my God, and he's white and he looks like Jesus or whatever, or Santa Claus, and that's God, and that's the only way he can appear. So we're putting such emphasis on that form that if anybody has a different form, then it can't be right, and they're wrong, and we have to go to war, and we have to kill them because they believe in a different God. Not understanding that it's the same God, just being everything and whatever people need, right? So, we got to get over that as humanity, perhaps. But and I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong in my understanding, but that's just where I'm at with what I think I know on my journey thus far. As a spiritual seeker, seeking to know about God.
The teachings of everything that appears cannot be like
too.
God, like cannot be your real, your true self. Crossed my mind. Does that fit into what he was saying, or can you touch on that somehow?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he was touching on it per se, but there's also the teachings that, anything you perceive in your perception or your awareness, it can't be you. Thus, any image that you create of God can't be God, because God is the very source of your very awareness itself. So, so every other depiction of God that enters the human mind would have to be a conception. It'd be a conceptual, whether it's a word or an image or a form. Conceptual. Because the very source of God and our self, our true beingness, is the awareness. So everything is an appearance to that awareness. So, that's getting pretty deep.
I know, and I just thought the same. Because on the one hand, it's like everything is God.
Yeah.
But it just depends on different teachings, different angles, and ultimately they don't contradict each other.
Yeah, God is everything and nothing. And all the teachings they do, tie together. I really love the teachings of Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, being God as form, right? I got no problem with that at all. But I also accept God being Shiva as that which is not, right? And Brahman and Vishnu. So at a certain point, you kind of see how, one thing, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, transcendent, and immanent, the source of everything, can be whatever it needs to be, right? Or whatever we choose that is helpful for us as, seekers to identify with, right? And then you can get into, some other paths that have no depiction whatsoever, like Buddhism. Just leave God out of it completely. Seek the truth within, and then realize, see for yourself, right? And then there's other traditions that teach, that as well, right? In the yogic paths. So, yeah. Good talk. You're doing okay?
Yeah.
This one got pretty deep.
Yeah, and not. It was so simple, and you didn't even say much, and I could just start crying. I don't know. I have quite a reaction to this video, so maybe we can finish this video.
So if you like this video as much as Sabina did, please hit that like button. Remember to subscribe. It really, really helps the channel. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Do you agree with Osho's talk in this video? And remember, raise yourself.
And raise the world. Thank you so much, everyone. And a very special thank you to all our members. We love you. I'm sorry.
Peace.
Oh, God.
What's going on?
I don't know. I just got in this state. And then it's just good.
Very emotional.
So deep.
Sabina.